Yay! Welcome to today's episode of Blissed Out Codes. I'm your host, Samantha Blossom. If you haven't yet hit the subscribe button, go ahead and hit that now so you can catch every episode fresh off the press. If you love this episode, I would love for you to give us a rating or review. That is how more people are able to find this information so that we can grow, evolve, and raise our consciousness together. So today we're going to chat about how to create happy chemicals from the inside. So this is how to elevate our imagination, how to shift out of a negative thought loop, shift out of a negative feeling loop, and how we can do that quickly and efficiently. So we all have those days when we wake up in the morning and maybe you had so many magical things planned. You were like, okay, I just woke up and last night I made my dream list of like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do this, this, this. And you wake up and you just find yourself not feeling motivated and not being able to do all the things that you want. So the first thing is that, your body may need some rest time. It might be your body communicating with you and letting you know, hey, today I need a rest day. And the thing is, the rest day doesn't feel good if we guilt ourselves or if we shame ourselves for not being able to accomplish the things that we thought we were going to get done. So one of the main things is to start to take a deep breath, relax, feel into, wow, I'm actually going to spend an extra hour in bed this morning, and maybe that's okay. And maybe that's my body's wisdom of telling me and showing me, hey, I need a little bit more rest right now. But the thing is, in order to allow your body to actually rest and recoup, we have to take away the shame and the blame and the guilt and the self-punishment. So that's when we don't feel good, right? And there's so many times when, this podcast was kind of inspired because this morning, I had a birthday party that I was supposed to go to. And I knew that I was supposed to go to this birthday party, but for some reason, my body just decided, okay, I need a break today. So I woke up an extra hour late, which already made me feel like, wow, I'm waking up late. What's happening? And instead of like actually trying to push myself, I decided I was going to text my friend, hey, I wish I could make it to your birthday, but actually I'm going to have to celebrate your birthday another day. And that was me prioritizing my inner relationship with myself. And what I discovered was my body had really decided, hey, it's time for me to completely stop drinking alcohol. And I had that intuitive feeling maybe over a week ago. And I thought maybe I could wait until after this birthday because this birthday consisted of a lot of wine tasting. And, it's very close to, we had a huge eclipse on Friday, a huge full moon on Friday. And I've just been getting this very clear internal signal of, hey, I'm just really not supposed to drink anymore. And so at first I was blaming and shaming my body in the morning for, wow, why am I not waking up earlier? Why am I not able to get ready for this birthday? Why am I being so selfish, not being able to be there for my friend on her birthday? And later, as I just made the powerful decision of like, actually, I've decided I'm no longer putting poison into my body. I'm no longer drinking alcohol anymore. And that's going to make me a more congruent person because why am I poisoning myself? And at the same time, wanting to nourish myself and wanting to get out there in the public. And it was just this huge epiphany moment. And the moment that I made that decision of, hey, I've actually decided that I just don't drink alcohol anymore. And that was actually what my body was trying to tell me. So I realized like the moment that I got the message, all of a sudden I had so much energy in my body again. I was able to get up. I went to brunch. I brought my journal. I brought my book. I got to have incredible conversations with the waiter there, and there was live music that I didn't expect. And I just had the most beautiful, gorgeous day. And, so much of me felt like, oh, I should feel bad that I'm not making it to my friend's birthday. Oh, she's going to take it personally. But really, I was in the right place at the right time for me so that she could also have the perfect experience for her. For instance, if I wasn't feeling 100% and I'm showing up at her birthday and I'm dragging the energy behind, it wasn't actually going to be creating happy chemicals for anyone. So one of the things is, your body might be trying to communicate to you and give you a message that you didn't even know that was there for you. So The moment that we can, instead of judging ourselves for why am I not moving faster? Why am I being lazy here? If we can take a moment to slow down and communicate, body, you're telling me that you need to slow down. Wow, thank you for showing me that you need to slow down. I wonder, I'm so curious what your message is for me. And sometimes that's texting a friend to get to that message, texting your coach or your mastermind. And other times that's coming to the journal and writing and just asking yourself, like, hey, like I'm feeling pretty low right now. What is this about? Does this mean I need to take a break? Does this mean I need more hot water and lemon? Does this mean I need some type of like vitamin? Does this mean that I need to think differently? Right. And the thing is, the solutions are oftentimes inside. Something I always tell my clients is, the chemicals to heal everything in your body is inside of you. All we have to do is turn on those chemicals and turn on that gene expression. So we never really quite know what's going to turn that gene expression on or gene expression off. But the more you get to know your body in a deeper level, the faster you're going to be able to hear its messages, right? So today is my very first podcast of Blissed Out Codes. And I was back and forth with the name of manifestation, mentor, or blissed out codes. And I was like, one of the things that I'm here to really turn on and activate is the bliss body. I know that there is a full spectrum of happy hormone or happy, there's a full spectrum of happy emotions, or maybe even just like more elevated emotions that I know as a collective, we're just beginning to turn on. And I know that I've gotten into those states where I just feel this like huge bliss state where I feel like the entire universe is kind of like communicating with me and holding me and supporting me. And you get into this huge synergy. And I've had those moments in my life a lot of times. And I've really been curious over the years, like, one, how did I get to that state? And then two, how can I teach that state and transmit that state? And how can we stay in that state more? I do have a theory that I feel like when we are at maximum energy, when we're actually doing the things to like deeply nourish our system so that our energy is in full flow, as in your chakra systems are flowing, your meridian systems are flowing, that naturally we're meant to feel that level of blissed out, that we're meant to feel this level of play on the planet. So if I didn't listen to my friends, if I didn't listen to my body in the morning and I actually went to the birthday party, I wouldn't have created this very first podcast. And this is the anchoring of this new energy. And it took me kind of a whole day to really like readjust my system to be like, one, it's time for me to get the podcast out. I can't keep making excuses. Like yesterday was another birthday. Like if you're like in my world, it's like, it's always a celebration. There's always a birthday. There's always something, it's like, and it's so easy to pull yourself like off course. And sometimes you just have to prioritize yourself and you have to prioritize your creations, right? So I was placed into one of those positions this morning to kind of catapult me into creating this very first episode. In fact, I don't even have the microphone that I want to use yet. It's not getting here until Friday. But I just know intuitively, I can't wait anymore. It's just time for me to get this work out. And so here I am, episode 1 of Blissed Out Codes. So when you're not feeling great and you're in a rut, actually like in a very short amount of time, you can kind of turn that energy around, but you have to kind of want to, and you want to have like the right tools, right? So again, like there's so many different tools. One, we can start with journaling. We can start to write out, right now, I'm feeling like crumbles. This isn't like, I'm feeling rubbish. These are all the reasons why I feel not great, and just kind of like release it all, right? And once it's like that part of you feels like heard, then we can start to be like, but this one little thing is kind of working out, and this other little thing is kind of working out, and actually this is kind of working out. We can kind of like be very real and just dump it out and release it, and then slowly start to adjust the momentum in the opposite direction until all of a sudden you're like, yeah, actually I am feeling pretty good. It's like you're almost like redirecting the momentum from like inside of your system, because first you're observing, okay, these are all the negative things happening, and now I'm going to like kind of shift and change that momentum, right? Of course, another easy way is just to change your environment, right? Because sometimes if you're in the environment that's making you feel like stuck or not unable to move, just take yourself out of the environment. It might just be You just need a change of scenery for a little while. You just need a different type of stimulus that's going to turn on a different type of gene expression. A lot of times, like, I find really beautiful spaces to be much more inspiring. So I might find a really beautiful restaurant to hang out at, or like a gorgeous hotel to just like sit at for a little while, and it's like, or maybe like I go out in nature. And it can be so easy as just like outside on your back porch or your balcony, or maybe you call up a friend and you hang out outside. It's like something as simple as just like changing your environment, and also kind of getting brave. It's like if you're doing computer work or if you're doing some kind of work and you don't need to be in the same environment, you can change it up. I work with a lot of real estate agents, and a lot of times I'm like, you could just be traveling and still making sales, but there's a permission slip inside, right? Of just give yourself that permission of like, yeah, I can be in a different location and still work. I can be in this other location and still do my thing, right? You can post on social media. You can have your client phone calls. You don't have to be in that same place, right? Another thing is to really just like slow down and meditate and ask yourself, you may even ask your psyche to show you. You might just close your breath, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and then ask your imagination to show you like, hey, can you show me what I'm feeling? Can you give me some colors, some images? Like, what does that look like? What does that feel like? And then if you were to like bring lots of light and color into that imagination, like if you were to heal that part of yourself, like there might be an aspect of your personality that shows up. It might be this part of you that's like, hey, I'm just like really worried right now. Or, hey, I'm just like, I have a project that needs to get done and I'm like really concerned about it. Like whatever it is that's like kind of like in the forefront of your imagination, or maybe you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm worried about money, or I'm worried about my team, or I'm worried about my next product or my next launch, or, where am I going to find my next real estate clients, whatever that is, whatever that main worry is, there's a type of archetype that's in your body, like a feeling, like a whole group of beliefs. So you can bring that up in your imagination, ask your imagination to guide you and show you, what does that look like? What colors? What does it feel like? And then what would need to happen to allow yourself to heal that? And that's where you can create these beautiful, happy chemicals from the inside. If you can see it, you can shift it. If you can imagine it, you can change it. So first, it's getting really real with your imagination of like go as dark as you need to go, of like, oh, you know what? It looks like this. It looks like a big black box. And I feel like, I feel like I'm trapped in this big black box. Okay, what if we put some white light over that? What if we put some gold light over that? What if we added some energy or wisdom, and then you might see the black box start to relax more and unfold. It might turn into a different shape. Give yourself that playful space in your imagination to just alchemize and transform it. And as your imagination begins to transform, shapeshift, change, then you're going to begin to see that your body will start to create different chemicals. It's no longer going to see that thing or identify that thing as being so scary. So the other way to kind of turn on and access like really blissful internal chemistry is just like telling yourself a better story, right? So again, going back to that example today of like, I could be like, wow, all day I could be like, wow, I'm such a bad friend. I can't believe I did that, Or I could be like, wow, you know what? I'm such a good friend that I knew I wasn't in the right space for that. And I'm going to take her out next week and it's going to be beautiful. And I'm going to get to celebrate her and I'm going to get to be fully present with her. And how amazing is it that I got to like finally start my podcast and do the first show today? Like, how awesome is that, right? It's always like a perspective shift and a perspective change, right? And I think that, society has a lot of like black, white, good, bad, right, wrong, versus like, well, what's your body's wisdom? Your body has a wisdom that's kind of guiding you to be in the right place at the right time. And sometimes that may not be logical, but a lot of times, like when I've listened to my body, I'll notice like, okay, because I didn't go to a certain event, a better way to explain it is I've noticed when I force myself to go to an event, that I end up feeling really not good when I'm there. And by feeling really not good when I'm there, it kind of spirals me, and it almost takes me away from my own creation for even more hours after that. But when I really listen to my intuition, I save so much time. I realize like, okay, yeah, okay, maybe I did kind of stay home and just like do nothing for half a day. But because I took that time to like really connect with my inner self, and because I took that time to like do some cleansing practices. Maybe I was drinking hot water and lemon all day. Maybe I was drinking tea. Maybe I was taking time to clean and organize. Because I took that time to like really connect with myself and create some inner space, it actually paved the way for so many more opportunities to open up the week ahead. And I've found that over and over again to be true of when I really just take the time to listen to my system, right? And I think that a lot of times in society, we're taught to override that intuition that's like so tuned in and so connected with your body. Your body's always giving you information. And I really feel like when we can learn how to hear those subtle cues in our body, that's when we start to turn on this bliss chemistry. Because when we're listening to those very, very subtle cues in our body, we're in alignment with our spirit. And then when we're in alignment with our spirit, we're much more deeply connected to our bodies. So this has been just like such a huge, fresh learning for me over the past week or two. Another example was I had just finished filming Luminescent, Impactful Leaders Ready to Shine, one of my biggest programs. And after filming the program, we wanted to meet up with our astrologer because we have a whole astrology section that we're adding into Luminescent. And when we got there, before getting there, I was super clear. I was like, I'm not very hungry. All I want is a small fish taco, and that's all I want. I was really clear with myself. And when I got there, it was like there were so many people there. And I just kind of easily got swayed to make a mental decision instead of like a spirit body decision. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, they're getting, he's going to get Thai food. They're going to get these noodles, empty bowl. Oh, it's already 6 p.m. And I'm like, oh, and I guess I could get a Thai iced tea. And it was like that one little shift of not listening to myself and to like allow an external thing to kind of change my sovereign decision. I decided to get the Thai iced tea. I got the curry noodles, and I didn't finish the curry noodles. I only had half the Thai iced tea. And then that night I couldn't sleep. And the following day, like I had like crazy allergies, which I hadn't had for several months. And I was just like, wow, it was such a clear sign that the universe was just like, hey, like listen to your body, listen to your subtle cues. And when you can take the time to really do that, it's like you collapse time and you become more efficient and you save so much future time, and sometimes, and the thing is, it's like nobody would have cared if I was like, hey, I'm not going to get Thai, I'm not going to get Thai curry. I'm going to go get the fish taco. Nobody would have cared. It was just something inside, my system that was like leaning towards people pleasing. And so this whole last week, maybe the last 2 weeks, it was like all these little tiny incremental things where the universe was showing me like, hey, are you still going to let this external thing pull you off track? What about now? What about now? And it's just been like, wow, I really felt that. I really felt where I was just like letting external things pull me off track. And I really feel like what brings you this like joy and happiness and sense of purpose is when you're in alignment with yourself. And when you're in alignment with yourself, what it means is like you said you're going to do something and you do it and you follow through and you get excited about doing it. And maybe you didn't do it perfectly. It's like, is this going to be a perfect show podcast? No, this is my very first one. And I don't have my Blue Yeti microphone yet, and it's like my kitties are kind of walking around like, but the thing is like, I got it out there. And am I getting every single concept exactly the way I want out? Maybe, maybe not. Right. But the thing is like, I'm doing it and I'm getting it out there. And that is really what counts for your spirit. Your spirit's like, okay, I'm not expecting that you get it done perfectly. I just want you to move through it and to do it and to grow. Even starting I've done so much filming, but just the thought of like, oh my God, now I'm gonna do a podcast. It felt so different filming this one, because in the very beginning, I took like 10 takes, and I don't usually do that. I usually just go on, film, ready to go. But for some reason, because I'm doing something new, my psyche was like, oh my gosh, like this is something new. It just felt so different in my system. But the thing is, unless you just like break through and just do it, you're just never going to do it. Right. And so I almost purposely decided to make this first one a little bit messy. Right. Because the thing is, it's like, that is your business. Your business is messy. Being an entrepreneur is messy. It's like there is a lot of like hit or miss. There is a lot of like, okay, I'm going to try this out. Okay, I'm going to try this out. I hope this works, and a lot of times it will work and sometimes it doesn't, but it's all kind of okay as long as you're really like listening to your own intuition and your own spirit. And I really feel like as you really like fine tune that process of like really learning how to listen to your spirit, how to listen to your body, a lot of times I do feel like that process like collapses time. But, I also feel like sometimes your spirit takes you through different challenges to help you grow and stuff. So even if something that you create doesn't really make it, it's only to make you more resilient and to make you stronger. Like nothing's ever actually like punishing you or trying to hurt you. It's really just like, hey, like I want to love on you and keep molding you and shaping you so that you're actually ready for this thing that you said you want to receive. Because if you can't handle the challenges, right? It's like, let's say you built up your system, you built up your business to be like multi-millions, and then all of a sudden you lost something, but you didn't build that resilience inside of like, can I still handle it when I don't win, when I fail, or when I don't succeed, And so the universe is kind of like training you and training you and training you, right? And the more that we really see that training, then I really feel like then you allow yourself to have happy chemicals created from the inside. You're no longer perceiving life in this black and white, like failure way. You're like, no, I'm always growing. You're in a growth mindset. You're like, yeah, okay, I took a really funny step here. That's okay. I'm still growing. Okay, yeah, I didn't really like look at that step was like, not great, but I'm still moving forward. And so, yeah, and so that's how you see yourself from a growth mindset. It's not like, oh my gosh, like I got a C on this calculus exam. That means I'm a failure and never going to try it again. Instead, you're just like, okay, that was my feedback. Okay, now I'm going to get stronger. Now I'm going to look at these other areas. Like, how can I tighten it up? How can I make it better? How can I make it more fun? How can I make it more connecting? How can I take time to connect to my audience more? How can I make like the podcast more fun? Or, you try to, you just take the time to really play with the concept and then make it more you or more magical or whatever that is that you really, really wanted. So yay. So that's for today's podcast. This is turning on bliss chemistry inside of your body. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to see how this evolves. This is episode 1. Yeah, if you feel like this was helpful for you, I would love it for you to share it with your community. Let's get this higher consciousness understanding and awakening out into the planet. And thank you again. I'm your host, Samantha Blossom, sending you so much love for the rest of the day. Thank you for being with me here, and lots of kisses. Ciao, babe.